I was going to bring stuff here. Hey, how are you? Kelly, you ready? Great. The person who's trying to already hit the legs. Oh, I see. That's what that's for.
No, I think that there was just some extra Caesars.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Wendy.
There's still some seats over in this side of the room.
This one row of seats.
Alright, so I'm just going to start with a short introduction. My name is Kelly Horner. I'm wearing two hats today. One of them is STEM coordinator, and the engineering broad presentations today are brought to you by the STEM Colloquia, the STEM Friday Colloquia series, and this is one of them. And my other hat is a co-instructor for the Engineering Abroad experience. Myself and Carl Ewald were fortunate enough to go with these students that are about to speak and appreciate and learn and experience many things over 2 weeks. And not only that, but some course preparation stuff too that goes along with the experience. But I'm not going to belabor with any more words, and I'm going to go ahead and let the students tell you about the experience. So they're going to come up one at a time. So there'll be a kind of a little bit of a moment between each presentation, but without further ado, I'll let David.
All right, so my name is David, and I was first an alternate last year, so I got picked, which if you become an alternate, that means that you get to be a part of the planning process for the trip, and then you're guaranteed a spot for the next year. So it was cool being a part of the first trip, getting to kind of feel that planning process and getting to be a part of something that was just really big. And it was so much bigger than I had thought. We have our teachers kind of tell us what to do in certain aspects of our education, but here we really got to work with the village, and we got to find out what they needed and act upon it. So it was really cool. So this is the village that we were staying in, and it was really shocking just seeing how cultured they really were. I had been to Mexico before. I had known that kind of Hispanic, I'm Hispanic, so I knew this general idea of Southern America kind of thing, but I had no clue how cultured they would really be. They would dress like this every day. They were working, they were always carrying stuff, and it was just really cool to have that as kind of your surrounding while you were working, and you got to see the exact people that you're influencing. So it was really cool. So first we assessed the work site. We took a day to just go around and look at the spring boxes there on the bottom left, and we were looking at this trail on the right where we would be digging the trenches, laying the pipeline, and at the top you can already see how the village was already building a retaining wall that would help us put our storage tanks where we wanted to put them. And so it's cool to see that the village was already preparing for our arrival and that we were really partnering with them instead of just coming and doing everything for them. So I got to be a part of the Springbox committee planning team, and so they had some really kinky designs of how they would do their spring box. There were 2 boxes on top of each other, and they were just not in series. It wasn't effective, and pipelines were broken, things were cut off. So what we got to do is to just come in, make their system pretty efficient, and also link it to our new tank system so we maximize their storage of water throughout the year. So that was really cool, and it was a fun project to be a part of because I didn't know anything about spring boxes or plumbing or even cutting PVC pipe and gluing and all that, so it was really cool. Preparing our site, we have on the left here, one of the spring boxes or side boxes had just all of this garbage that wasn't being used, so we got to cut that out, pull it out. You can see at the top, Nathan is really just taking all of the shrubbery away that has been growing around what we were going to be working on. Shay down there is cutting this huge tree which was growing into the spring box, and it was kind of polluting the water that they were drinking too. And you can see on the bottom right, it looks pretty black in that picture, and that's actually the color that it was, and that's the water that we had to drain in order to start cleaning it out and making it functional. So cleaning the spring boxes, there's the dirty water. Once we drained it out, there's Nathan there just scraping out all the sludge, and then we put it in buckets, and on the bottom right is actually the sludge that was on the bottom of their sediment, or the sediment on the bottom of the tank that we didn't want people drinking. So we took it out, cleaned it, scrubbed it, bleached it, as you can see on the bottom, and so that felt really gratifying to go from that dirty tank to the sludge down to what they could store their water in. And there was learning on the site. I didn't know, Brandon's awesome, he can tell just by looking at the diameters, like, oh, that's 1/2 inch, that's 3/4. Like, I would walk all the way up the hill, find out, okay, this connection doesn't work, and then I'd have to walk all the way back down. And so it was just like this cool, fun learning process. Got to learn how to cut blue PVC, as I said, and it was a lot of fun. There's a picture of us also, or the village kind of helping us and learning with us, and sometimes we found out that conduit isn't the same as PVC pipe, and they have different strengths, and so things I didn't know, but I'm glad that somebody else made the mistake and I learned from it. And laying PVC pipe was really fun. As you can see, we were all together, and even though maybe this job would have required 2 people at a time, we had a whole family doing it, and that was pretty fun because when we had really long work days, so when half of us would kind of just drop out and get tired, the other half would jump in, and so we were tag teaming and kept going along and really got a lot done in a pretty short amount of time, so it was cool. And it was just awesome to see the culture. On the top left was the downtown square that we were staying in. And you just see old architecture everywhere, and there's volcanoes surrounding, and you're in this valley of 3 different volcanoes, and the volcano's active most of the time, and there's smoke spewing from it, and it was just so cool. And to go to the pottery place where they were making it in front of you, and you could see the before and after process, and just doing their agriculture, and it was a beautiful experience to see somebody else's culture and to be immersed in that, and it really gave me a respect for their culture that I really didn't know much about until this trip and researching it, and fell in love with Spanish all over again too, so that was really cool, and I recommend the experience.
Alright, well, Melissa is coming up. I just wanted to let you guys know that, as I mentioned, everybody's going to give a different experience, and they might just reiterate some of the stuff that you've heard in the slide before, but for those of you it's the first time you're hearing it, it'll start to kind of come together as you hear more of the students talk about it. So,
Hi, so my name is Melissa Jimenez, and I was one of the engineering grad students who went to Guatemala. Feeling like it's going to be a little difficult to follow David, because David had a really well-rounded presentation, so I'll try my best. So in the first slide, I pretty much wanted to show everyone how our journey began. It didn't, I mean, for me it started here at Cabrillo, where we all just kind of kept meeting and and I liked the fact that when we all got together for like the first outing, or the first time that we were going to set off on our journey, we caravaned to the airport, and then from there on we were just like together just the whole time, 24/7. And a lot of us were sleep deprived and just completely exhausted, but you know, we stuck it through. We look happy there. You know, I don't think any of us have slept in a while. And in the picture at the top right, that's the big bus that we got into. And to me, that kind of felt like, I don't know, it was a pretty awesome experience. Like, just feeling like you're in this like family setting. Like, we never got split up into little cars or had to like, you know, try to figure out where everyone else was. We were just always together, and I love that about it. And in the bottom picture, that was the first time we arrived at the school site. I just really stood at the top and kind of waited and was watching everyone trickle down, and it just felt really, I don't know, like it made it real, just seeing everyone, you know, like at the work site for the first time. One of the things that I really loved about our whole trip was the friendships that we made. Like, as you can see there, the top left, I love that picture. I don't think Pablo took that, Kalika. I feel like everybody went there as a group, a little bit of a family feeling, but we came back like kind of like a solidified bond between all of us, and I just really wanted to show that in, all the experiences that we had. Another thing I really enjoyed was the kind of like the cultural side of it. We got to stay with our homestay families, and to me that was, I don't know, it felt like gaining another family, which was really difficult because we had to leave them. But while we were there, they treated us like we were their own, and this was my host family. She's on the next to Kelly there, and then her daughter is next to me. And I just really loved how they opened their home to us and just treated us like we were their own and fed us, and basically they, they took care of us. It was amazing. So at the work site, I wasn't really sure what to do my first day. I was kind of lost. I was like, okay, I don't really know I have any redeeming qualities here out in the field, but I just kind of wanted to get involved in everything. So one thing that I really enjoyed was that we didn't really have to know what to do. There was always things that you could do. There was like groups working on digging, people doing gutters, and so I just kind of really wanted to be involved in everything. So I kept passing by the gutter team, which I think was Josh and Evan, and I really liked what they were doing, and I was like, I want to do that, but I didn't think they would let me because, dangerous equipment, or it looked dangerous, but they were like, yeah, come on, go ahead. So they let me do that, and that was just like really awesome, cutting into metal and everything. I was like, I don't know, it was an amazing experience. And the picture up there, the top left, I like that picture because it was Kalika and I, when we were first trying to figure out what to do, and Carl was just kind of telling us that we can go ahead and figure it out, like on our own, not to be afraid to sort of take initiative and just really put yourself out there and be like, okay, I want to do this, and just, go out there and try it out. And if you mess up, well, it's a learning experience. And I did mess up a lot. I glued this one pipe wrong in the wrong place. We had to cut it and fix it by putting like a coupler on it, and that was I was a little embarrassed at first, but then I was like, okay, this gave me an experience. If I hadn't done that, I would have never learned how to glue pipe that well. So I'm like a master pipe gluer now. So at the work site, there was little kids like all the time, and it really helped seeing the community there, because it kind of, for me, reinforced what I was doing. When we were here and we were planning, it just sort of felt like, okay, we're going to go work in this village and do stuff, but I didn't really know, there was no faces attached to it yet. So when I got there and I met all these children, it was like, these are the people that we're helping. These are the people whose lives are going to change. And the little kids were always willing to help. Like, they were running around and they had work to do. I'm surprised how strong they are. Some of them were carrying like just massive amounts of wood on their back, and I don't know, I was shocked by how strong they were. One time the little kids decided they wanted to get us flowers, so they climbed a tree and they cut a bunch of like flowers off. They pretty much kind of shredded the whole tree off, but it was okay because they brought all the flowers to the girls, and I think Jose as well for some reason. I think he had long hair.
It's the long hair.
I don't know. And I gave the kids my camera, and so the kids actually took these pictures. The one on the left where we're all holding the flowers, and when I got my camera back, it had like 100 pictures because the little boy had been just pressing the button. I was like, okay, so my phone was full. And then a few seconds later, we can't see yet, but Janae, she found a giant spider that had come out of the flower and was like crawling out of her jacket. And that was just like a really fun memory. So, as you can see, that's the spider. I forgot to put that on there. That was, so, yeah. So another thing I enjoyed was that we had a variety of T-shirts we could wear. We had our Engineering Abroad, we had our Dream Volunteers, which was the organization that helped set it up, right? And then La Union, the school that we were working with, they gave us a T-shirt too. So one way or another, somebody in our group was always representing something, and I just, I thought that was really awesome. And even when one of us wasn't able to be there, I just had to throw in this picture of Josh with a Hello Kitty balloon because Kalika got sick one time, and she wasn't with us, so we brought the balloon in her place. She was there with us in spirit. So. Of course, my Mayan wedding. So we had this Mayan cultural experience, which was really awesome. And one of the things was, of course, they wanted to demonstrate what a Mayan wedding was like. And so I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm ever going to get married, but here's my shot. So, I got up there, and everybody's like, right, we need a groom. No one was volunteering. Eventually, Thomas stepped up and was like, okay, I'll do it. So, thanks, Thomas. So, yeah, it was a really fun experience. It was nice. We got divorced very quickly, but it was fun while it lasted. So Tikal also was just like a really amazing experience as well. I loved this part of it because, well, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and one of the Star Wars movies was filmed there. But aside from that, it was just beautiful seeing all these pyramids. I missed out on a lot of the guided tours because I was sick, but I really enjoyed the time that I got to spend there. So. This is one picture where I think, well, minus Patrick, this is the picture we have where we're all together. I think the only picture that I found. And I just really wanted to show us as a group.
You'll notice there's some names already on it. There's 3 sheets, so if you haven't made it to a colloquium before, just sign your name on the 3rd sheet, okay? Sorry to interrupt.
So, my name's Evan, and I was one of the delegates that went to Guatemala with the group. And I really like this picture because it's like the bus. It's a time when we're all together, we're all having fun. I think Nick's kind of worried most of it. But yeah, we're just all together, and usually like when we go to a hotel, we're all split up in different rooms, but on the bus, traveling around to the job site and around town, we were just always together, so I really like that. This just shows like the typical Guatemalan street in Antigua with the cobblestone. Like you'll be walking and you will be like the first few days you'll be just tripping over stuff because there's all these random stones everywhere. So it's pretty difficult to walk. It's not like straight paved streets, and it kind of just shows, I don't know, the streets and how it is. I like this picture because this is at Cerro de la Cruz, and it's this place that overlooks all of Antigua. And I think that day we spent a lot of time up there, just sitting up there enjoying the view. Maybe we go to the next one. Well, you can see the volcano wherever you are in Antigua. So it's like you have this huge volcano looming over you. And this is the Central Park, and you see the big church with the architecture that's just known throughout Guatemala and Antigua. And just seeing that volcano, you just always have this huge it's like your buddy. You always know like what direction it is, and that was south of it. So you always know where you are in the town. This showed like the dirty work we did. That was some sludge Nathan was getting out of the tanks, as David was showing, that we cleaned, and that just shows how dirty it was. And you can see Nathan, it was a very dirty job. Nathan really
it was great.
Yeah. me and Josh were part of the gutter team, and this shows just you know, what we had to do. We had to work together. Like in every team throughout, you know, all the projects, we all had to work together. It wasn't a job we could do just individually. We had to always, you know, be with someone else or be with the group working together, and that's how we got it done together as a group. This shows some of the people from La Union and some other people from the village too, and we were just burning like a pile of I think it's garbage or something. That's just how they burn their garbage with brush. I forget what it was, but this just shows how we're kind of like they kind of welcomed us into their community as like one of them because we're helping them out and just, you know, giving them what they need. This was New Year's, so this is the Ark in Guatemala in Antigua. It's like the you could think of it as like the main, like if you ever see a picture of Antigua, this is like usually what you'll see. And they go from 2014 to 2015, the New Year we spent it right there, and it just kind of like shows how we started our trip off with kind of like a bang, fireworks. This is my homestay family. I've actually been going to Guatemala for the past 3 years, and I've been staying with the same family, so they're really, really special to me. And I think in that picture I was helping them cook something, and go to the next picture. This is for the whole group. I wanted to show them, you know, what my family showed me, like their food. This is a Guatemalan enchilada. It's on a tostada, and when you eat it, it just like gets all over your face. Like, and they use like beet, like they put carrots and peas, and they like use a pressure cooker and pressure cook beets into it, so it's like you know, beet stains everything, so it just like gets all over your face and your shirt, and it's just really fun to eat. But it's really delicious too. And we made it for the whole group, and I just thought it was a special thing. I could kind of bring what my family shows to me to the whole group. And this, in the very left, you can see the Volcán de Fuego, and that's the volcano that it was actually active. It was pretty close to, and that's like a poof. Like every once in a while, it just does all these poofs because it's pretty much active. So it's like we had, and at night sometimes you like feel the ground shaking, and it's earthquakes from the volcano. So it was like you knew you were somewhere else. You know, we don't have any volcanoes out here. We have earthquakes, but you don't hear rumbling. It's different than a regular earthquake.